Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Monday live stream. And it's a really, sometimes things have really good timing, don't they? Sometimes it works out really well. So there's two things I want to talk to you about this evening. I want to talk about Nigel Farage and the big news that came this afternoon at 4 o'clock that he's taking over leadership of the Reform Party, and he is standing for reform in the parliamentary constituency of Clacton. So we're going to talk about that. And then I want to talk to you about our brand new live event, which is in London Town in July 26th. I'm going to give you all the details on that there as well. So those are the two things that I predominantly want to go into. But before we do that, I want to thank everyone for the great response to the live show we put on Friday night with Gregory Martin. I hope that seemed to go down really well, and you got to admit we did cover the topics from black magic to Shakespeare to Kevin Spacey to Donald Trump. We covered all the topics. So a big thanks to Gregory for being there on Friday night. And the other thing is a shout out hi John Ferguson, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. The other thing to let you know is on Wednesday here on the Twattersphere, on the Getters, on the Rumbles, all the different places. I'm really looking forward to having Mr. James Perloff joining, the author of several great books. And on Wednesday night, he's going to tell us exactly what happened to the Lusitania, what was really behind it, who was involved in the sinking of the Lusitania, what did it mean, what were the forces, all of that stuff. We're going to chat at that. Grantonio says, is anything interesting happening today? Yes, Grantonio, we're launching our new live show in London. But as you rightly point out, before we get to that, I want to chat a little bit. Hi, Leslie, of course. Good to see you. Matt, just seeing the different folks coming in. John, Chris, all of you folks, thanks for being here this evening as we talk about, let's start off with the big headlines. Now, I wonder if Jed can bring up a couple of headlines. Subscribe and share this information, because I think we're on YouTube. I don't think they can give me a strike for what I'm going to talk about tonight. Hope not. And Facebook, as well as all the free speech platforms. But the big news. Let's cut to the chase. So if Jed can bring up a couple of headlines. I think the Nigel Farage announced earlier on today came the news that there was going to be an emergency announcement made at 4 p.m. this afternoon, and everyone was thinking, "Ooh, what does this mean? Is he going to?" Well, here he is talking. I don't know if we can play it or not, but he says, I am the new leader.
I'm standing as a candidate in this election. I've taken the leadership over at Reform UK. Do you know why? I see our country going down the drain. I believe in Britain, these boring idiots that lead the Labour and Conservative parties are not worth the space. Let's make Britain great again. Join me. So
there you go. Perfect. You heard Farage. He has taken over leadership from Richard Tice of the Reform Party. He's going to stand for Parliament in what is a very Brexit constituency of Clacton. And I was looking at some of the statistics for Clacton, and at the moment, Reform are in second place behind the Conservatives. I put this up earlier. I thought it amused me. Firstly, are you okay? This is the Rishi Sunak. Did I send that to Rishi? Yeah. Firstly, are you okay? I'm doing my Holly Willoughby bit. Are you okay? You okay, Rishi? Because hi, Joe Cool, by the way. This is very significant. It really is. And that's why we're going to chat about it a little bit, because Farage is one of our most, if not our most charismatic politician. And like him or loathe him, and as you know, I've criticized him and will continue to do so, but no sane person is going to say, yeah, he's irrelevant. He's not irrelevant. He's very irrelevant. And earlier on today there, about 5 o'clock, I was supposed to be on the George Galloway show. Can you imagine me and Georgie boy? But they overran, and I don't have all day to hang around waiting for George Galloway or anyone else for that matter. So Jed says, you told me so. But hang on, Jed, we're going to get to this whole thing because Jed's going to join me. But I just wanted to get these few bits out there to start with. So Farage is a major political personality. He's a brilliant campaigner. Yes, he's the man who changed Britain. He's a much better communicator than Rishi Sunak. Hyper. Do you notice Rishi Sunak can't stand still? So Rishi Sunak and wooden Keir Starmer. So as I was saying, I was supposed to be on with George Galloway, and the point that I wanted to say to him was, and what I'm going to say to you guys is that I still think that if Reform get one seat, that'll probably be the top, the high water mark. And it might be Nigel down in Clacton. And actually, I hope it is. But that's not where the real significance lies. The significance is that by him becoming leader and campaigning himself, given all his charisma, I reckon he's going to move the Reform Party up several points in the poll. And it's not impossible to believe that actually Reform could come in above the Tories in the opinion polls. It's possible. Certainly very, very close. Now, that would be what's called an extinction level event for the Conservatives, who are already doomed. Keep saying that they're doomed, and they are doomed. But if the impact of Reform is they're going to take these votes from the Tories. Now, they might take some votes from Labour as well, because in this like Clacton, which is a Brexit-ish constituency, absolutely betrayed by the rotten Tories, along with all the red wall, and maybe, just maybe, some Labour red wall vote. Secret Antonio saying, I still think Davy can pull this off. I thought he drowned in Lake Windermere, though. I think that was no, he survived, but he did fall in, and then he was going down a chute with in some amusement park or something. I mean, basically, the Lib Dem campaign is an alternative campaign which involves Ed Davey doing silly things, but Nigel Farage doesn't do silly things. Nigel Farage is, I think, going to change this election. And I think he's going to drain support from the Conservatives, especially in those Brexit areas, because I think those Conservative voters from Brexit were reluctant to stick with the Tories who have betrayed them, but they weren't necessarily prepared to go across to Starmer. So that's good. And then the second thing is there are also, red wall. Hi, Jason Trussell. Good to see you, my friend. So I think that Reform and Farage can most definitely get to disaffected Labour voters as well. And as we talked about last week, Nigel Farage isn't scared to talk about the big issues that afflict our country, the immigration issue, the fact that we do have a problem with the percentage of the Muslim population. And to be fair to George Galloway, he was kind of, I think he's reasonably well intentioned towards Farage. Hi, Harry Johnson. Nice to see you. Hi, Republican Rocker, all you guys. Gary Noble. Hi. Thanks, folks, for being here as we go through the next hour. And I'm going to reveal the big live event in London in a little under 20 minutes. But this is a game changer. It really is. Hi, Emma. Great to see you. This is something that's going to tick the dials. Now, you watch the opinion polls, and people have talked about this actually for several weeks, that Reform under Richard Tice goes somewhere. But basically, Nigel Farage reaches the parts that Richard Tice is never, ever going to reach. And that is, he's a charismatic leader. Some people hate him. That's fine. Some people hate me. It's okay. But he's also much liked. And certainly when he walks into the room, he's a guy that people will turn to. And I can see him taking the agenda. One of the things that I'm told, I don't know if you're aware of this, that the Conservatives are going to fast track their intention to leave the European Court of Human Rights on the back of this Nigel Farage announcement. Yeah, that's how cynical they are. So I've said this, and I'll bring Jed on now in a couple of minutes. So I want to hear his views, because I want to see the Uni Party destroyed. I mean, I do. It's our only hope. We have to destroy it, destroy the Uni Party. If we destroy the blue part of the uni party, then that's good. And I think that reform is going to interfere with, yes, Grantonio, the Tories have had 13 years to deal with the European Court of Human Rights. They've had years to deal with this gender thing, all of this stuff, and they did nothing. And they're so cynical and so desperate that they're bringing out all these policies a few weeks before we go to the polls. I think that the destruction of the Conservative Party would be a good thing. I also think that Nigel Farage feels that if the Conservative Party melts down till around 100 MPs, give or take, right, he could then reverse back from reform into and take over something, maybe we call it Reformed Conservatives. I'm not sure what the name is. If he does call it that, I want royalties, by the way, Nigel. But, it's definitely something that could happen. And that could happen in the space of 7 or 8 weeks. So just imagine it's the 5th of July. Sunak's been his party's been wiped off the face of the electoral map. And probably most of the major Conservative names have lost their seats. I mean, I saw it. I don't know if any of you saw it, but you need to have a heart of stone not to laugh. Sky, or should I call them Sly News, they were just revealing the latest opinion poll from Sly News. And they were, this is it. This is quality. I wonder if we can play this. They're phoning.
Sam Cope. So it's on his Apple phone. Give him a little minute to get it up, but he's going to take it now.
Hello, Grant chaps. You're live on Sky News. I'm in the studio with Sophie Ridge. Have you just seen that you're about to lose your seat according to the Sky News YouGov projection? He just put the phone down on me. There we go.
Well, to be fair, everyone should put the phone down on Sly News, given their scandalous misrepresentation of the Tommy Robinson Lawfare event in London this Saturday. But all the same, poor old Grant Chaps, you're going to lose your seat. I've studied the electoral calculus detailed sort of map of the UK and what the forecasts are. And it's devastating for the Conservatives. It's devastating. You actually have to scroll for ages and ages and ages just to find one returning Conservative MP out of 650. So anyway, so that being said, I think this is good news all around. Yes, I do. I'm going to stick with my views on Farage. I have written stuff very critical. I noticed, for example, that Nigel Farage and Reform had nothing to say about the event in London on Saturday. Now, that's quite disgraceful. Why is that? Oh, we don't want to be associated with all the bad boys and the bad girls that were in London. What? Waving union flags, demonstrating patriotism, asking the right questions about two-tier policing. Nigel Farage and Reform should be behind them, but they don't. They don't want to be associated there. Undoubtedly, they don't want to be associated with people like me as well. Although, to be fair to Nigel Farage, he hasn't blocked me. Richard Tice did a long time ago. So you can imagine my heart broke when I discovered that Richard's been shoved out of the way. Apparently, also, FYI, Farage only made the decision yesterday afternoon. So I think it caught out the senior members of Reform. But to be honest, the only people that matters in Reform is Nigel Farage. Yes, I know Ben Habib's a good guy. I know they've got a few other decent folks, but it's all about Nigel Farage. So there we go. So listen, without any further ado, let's bring on our special guest this evening. And that is my longtime partner in digital crime here, Jed. And ask Jed, what did you make of the news as it came in late afternoon there a few hours back?
Well, David, first of all, I knew something big was going to happen. Whether I think Reform is still not the party Farage is after, but I think it's a vehicle to get there, because I think it's a vehicle to help destroy the Conservative Party, and then he takes over the Conservative Party after, and rises it, out of the ashes like a phoenix, in the Phoenix Club. To coin a phrase. But for all Farage's faults, you've just spent 15 minutes singing his praises.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I've said, you've said before, he's a Judas Goat. He didn't do this on vaccines. He hasn't done this day. He hasn't done the other. And I keep saying, guys, we have to take what we've got. And Farage is one of the better ones that we've got. And the fact that he's now taken over reform, I think one shows how weak Tice is. And you're right, Tice is weak, and has been weak. But I think it shows the political power that Farage has, because when he did that press conference, they kept trying to pull him down over his past records. Ran 7 times, he's never won. Yeah, Donald Trump and so on and so forth. And they just get hammering him, and they even said to him, "Why are you doing it here in London and not in Clacton, where your constituencies are?" And he went, "Because you lot won't come out of your bubble. That's why I'm doing it here." Yeah. And then he joked about it. But he showed them actually that every question they asked, it was a gotcha. They were trying to get him with every question.
Oh, I get that. Yeah. I mean, the fact of the matter is that Nigel Farage is the closest we have in the UK to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He's the closest. And actually, I see, of course, our great friend Leslie here saying Nigel was awful in vaccines. Yes, so was Trump. Yes. But notwithstanding all of that, and this, Jed, is the point where I think we're aligned in this one. I just think this is going to shake it up. This is the most dramatic thing that could have happened. I've seen people saying, no, it was always factored in. He was always going to do it. No, he wasn't.
No. I don't think he was.
No.
I think it was the backlash when they said he wasn't going to run or he wasn't going to stand. There was quite a bit of a backlash there, wasn't there? About him running away and deserting the Brexiteers and all this sort of good stuff. And I think he spent the weekend and went, hang on, no, I should stand. But whether he wins or not, he's now put the Tories on the back foot, and Labour are also thinking, oh, hang on, what's going on? So the media are in a frenzy. The media are now going to spend the next 5 weeks trying to tear him down.
Yeah.
And he's just going to bat him out the park every single time.
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, the thing is, he's a wee bit like Trump. The more they attack him, the stronger he actually gets. He's like that. Yeah. And the thing about the Farage intervention is, it's not just the Tories that will be panicking. I mean, have you seen some of the memes on Twitter concerning the? I mean, I sent one to Rishi Sunak myself. Because the amount of panic in Conservative central office, it must be absolutely brilliant to see.
They must be beside themselves. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I think in Labour headquarters as well, it could be a problem because, Farage does have that working class appeal across the spectrum. That's why he led us out of the European Union.
Absolutely.
So I think Labour should be worried. I think the Tories should be, Jed. They should be having a stiff drink, because there's no way this ends well for them. Just no way.
No. Can you still hear me, David? Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, Jed.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I just moved something on my desk and my mic muted. I think they're all in panic mode now, including the media. I think the media are now scrambling around to try and tear him down. Oh, not here to be all over it. But the thing is, over the past couple of weeks, Farage has come out with some very big statements. You could now call them policies, couldn't you, about refugees, etc., about the channel. And they're all scrambling now. What do we do about this? What do we do? Because he hasn't backed down. He's doubled down on what he said.
Well, Jed, I think a really important angle in this one, and see, our friend John Saunderson brings it up. John said, Leslie, I'll come to your question as well. But a wee bit of echo there, Jed. I'm getting. You need to just mute your end. But I'll frame the question and then you can come back in it. John says lots of red wall Labour voters will vote for him like they did for Boris. Yes, John, I think they'll vote for reform now that it's seen as Nigel Farage back, and this time he's serious. So I think, Jed, that this is a danger to Labour, who I think up until this point have been very complacent because they know how awful the Tories are. They know people want to change, but a section of that Labour vote definitely is going to now think about voting Farage, and that means voting Reform. And especially if he can keep doing, we talked about it in our live last week, and looking forward to our live this week, but on Thursday nights. But he shook the whole thing up last week. And he's shaking it still. And I think this is, Jed, the remarkable thing. He can actually grab the political agenda well away from Keir Starmer, well away from Rishi Sunak, and actually say stuff that matters to ordinary working class voters. Jed.
Yeah, he steers politics. He has done for 20 years, and particularly lead up to the referendum. He is the sole man that got that vote. He put the Tories under so much pressure that Cameron had to back down and give the referendum.
Yeah, I mean,
Cameron was so big-headed that he thought he could win this. He thought it was a done deal. Absolutely. And that, you never underestimate Farage and the power he has. And I think now, Tory HQ, Labour HQ, and you're right, I think they're going to steal votes away from both of them. And that, I was thinking before he mentioned this, and I think I might have touched on it on the show on Thursday, where although we keep thinking that the Tories are going to get a massive kicking, I think they are. But I also think Labour aren't going to run away with it. Yeah. And now Farage has stepped into the fray, I think it's going to be a closer run thing. And you said Leslie's had a question as well, though. I don't want to leave Leslie's question.
Yes, I do. Yes, I mean, Leslie asks the very pertinent question. Okay, so should we vote Reform rather than not vote now? Well, Leslie, that's a matter for individual discretion, and it's not for me to tell anyone who they should vote for. My argument would be that, well, it's very personal, put it like this, but I guess if I lived in Clacton, I would know who I needed to vote for, Leslie. If I lived in Clacton, just about everywhere else, I'm not so sure in that. But the point is that, and Grantonio says a really good point here as well, that Farage is bigger than Reform. He is. He's big. You'd agree, wouldn't you?
Nigel Farage, that's right. He is the politics, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's leading the agenda. He's been leading the agenda, certainly since I got involved in politics since 2015.
Yeah, and I think the thing about it is that, like, you just watch now how this. I mean, it'll be funny to watch how the Conservatives react to this. Grantonio says, Jed's been telling us to vote Reform for a year now.
And that's why I stuck up. I told you so, David. Yeah?
Yeah. And David, I see our friend D2757 says, David Curtin says he's standing candidates in Northern Ireland. So, likey. Yeah, I mean, David's a great guy as well. So, I think, I mean, I have my own views on. I'm not getting into telling anyone how to vote, but all I'm saying is, and I think this is a fair-minded way of looking at it, this is a kind of a game changer. It's going to shake up this election. It's going to affect Labour and Tories, and it might give people more reason, Leslie, to consider voting. But as I say, Leslie, I was irritated that Farage and the whole of Reform kept away from London on Saturday. Why is that? Is Tommy Robinson too toxic? That's not the right attitude. Lawrence Fox, and Carl Benjamin and lots of other really good people were there. I think it's disheartening that Reform kept quiet about it. But then again, so did GB News. And actually, I've written an article in that, I think maybe over in my Substack. I forget, Jed, because I do that much stuff today. It's either that or it's a podcast. But anyway, look, this is popcorn, isn't it? I mean, this is absolute popcorn moment.
Oh, it is. This is blockbuster movie time. And absolutely. And, we can sit back for the next 5 weeks now and watch the media go into meltdown over it. We can watch the Tories scrambling around for policies. And then Labour scrambling around with the magic money tree to buy a vote. Because even now the polls are coming in about the 16-year-olds being able to vote, and the polls are not in Labour's favour for that.
No, people don't want it. That's right. No, absolutely. People want to. As I said, this is going to cause a rethink in Labour headquarters. It's definitely going to cause a meltdown, an emotional meltdown in Conservative
absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing is, I thought Farage dealt with the media today absolutely brilliantly. And I didn't get to watch every single question he answered, but I watched 90% of them. And each time a question came at him, because it wasn't a question, it was a gotcha. He just picked up the bat and he smacked it to the back of the park and then said, right, next question. Yeah. I mean, he just wiped the floor with the media.
The thing about Farage as well is he can be ruthless at times, which is good. I like that. And somebody asked him, well, like, do you think you're more popular than Richard Tice then? And that's all. I mean, a gotcha question. And he said, well, yeah, I think people probably people like Richard, but people like me potentially a bit more. And as he said, I thought this was the moment to do it. So I think in the past 24 hours, Jed, something changed. Farage just said, I assume he looked at the polls, he looked at where things were, and he decided this will be his last chance of ever getting elected into Parliament. And I think he's got a really good chance because the Tories are pretty much dead in the water. Brexit areas, as several of you folks have pointed out in the stream, Brexit areas are denied Brexit representation. I mean, we've talked about it so much, Jed, the fact that, we voted for it, they've betrayed us, and Farage wobbled a bit on that particular night back in 2016, but he's absolutely clear that we need to be completely out of the European Union. So again, Jed, there's nothing for me to disagree with there. I totally want to see that. And it'll be fun. The Tory high command, as I say, panic stations tonight, and Labour probably thinking, what if Brexit party, what if Farage and Reform, what if they absorb some of those red wall votes that we were counting on, even as independent Muslim-y type candidates also stand.
But this thing is, I think the biggest thing he was saying tonight or this afternoon was, and it's the usual story, but I think the way he put it, that we've all lost faith in the uni party. He referred to it as the uni party, and and the betrayal. Every time they promise you something, then they get in power and they lie. They lie, and he was calling them out for liars and betrayals.
Yeah, and that's good.
And Farage is good at that. He just stands his ground and he says it. Yeah, I agree with your sentiment there. He's got his problems. But we have to go with what we've got. And you can't go with the Tories because they're just not Tory. You can't go with Labour because they're just communists. Yeah. So you've got to go with somebody. He's not perfect. But both parties are not perfect.
I think
change.
Yeah. Listen, I think that Conservatives and Labour are globalists. I think they're all implementers of World Economic Forum narrative. And therefore, I think that Farage is different to that. Ricky says there, hi Ricky, by the way, this could force a Lib-Lab coalition. That mightn't be a bad thing actually, because that'd be unstable, because obviously the Liberal Democrats are profoundly unstable.
And then there's no water slides or anything like that.
I know, you saw,
Parliament, which is slide down, isn't it?
Exactly.
I mean, that's the thing. That's a common thing. Just before you disappear onto another topic, that's an overriding thing with the Liberal Democrats, isn't it? One, they're not Democrat, we know that, but they have to have these stunts, whether it's like a blue wall being smashed with a digger, or something like that. Yeah. You always have to have a stunt, don't they?
Yeah,
they're like a cartoon character of a political party.
They are a party of absolute stunts. Now, I had to be careful how I said that, but that's what they are. Leslie says, hey, David, is Nigel not a globalist? Well, he opposes CBDCs. He was poor over vaccines. I think he does want to see the UK not involved in some of these supranationals. So he's maybe semi-detached, Leslie, from the globalist agenda, and that's better than being a full-on one. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see, and we're going to watch this. Dee says he's walking a tightrope, I think. Grant says, I remember the Liberal Democrats. Yeah, bring back Joe Swinson or some of the absolutely.
I know, that was brilliant. I could be your PM. Then she loses her seat.
I know. As I said, you would need a heart of stone not to laugh. Now, Right, folks, now is the time to move to the other thing I wanted to talk to you about. And that is that, as you know, folks, we have taken to putting on live events that people can go to and meet up with great characters. And the first one was in London in December, if I remember rightly, early December 12th, I think it was. And that was with Andrew Bridgen, MP, and with Mr. Carl Benjamin of Lotus Eaters. Carl's been in the news much recently, so it's good to see Carl there. And
yeah, remember, he would not rate that Labour MP.
Yeah, he said he wouldn't, and that apparently that's a cardinal crime. Good to see him there on Saturday as well, by the way. So that was all good.
And then remember, they played a clip from our live, didn't they?
Apparently, yeah.
Magdalene saw it because Tommy couldn't make it to that event, as we spoke at the time.
He wasn't allowed. Yeah,
he wasn't allowed, so he played a little
beginning
of his thing, which was good of him, I thought.
That's right. We would have been very happy to have Tommy Robinson in the audience, or even coming up on stage at either of our events, actually. And in both cases, the Metropolitan Police, the hypocrites in the Metropolitan Police, wouldn't allow Tommy to be there. So Grantonio's, I'm teasing you for another minute or two. So the second one we did then, which was in March, Jed, 1st of March, was with Mr. Lawrence Fox and Father Calvin Robinson, which was again a brilliant night for anyone that was there. As I know some of you were. Leslie, I'm looking at you right now. It was fantastic, really, really good fun. And again, it sort of motivates me to keep on going. So basically, just to put you in the picture, folks, before I do the big unveil, we have been trying to get the next event sorted out. Now, it's always difficult because you're trying to get venues, you're trying to get great guests, you're trying to find a thing that works together. So anyway, that being said, we are there. So we have a venue, which we will reveal obviously closer to the time, but it's not the same venue as previous. So I'm saying that. It's not the same venue, and we will talk about it closer to the time. And this time round, the actual live itself is being put on by myself and by my good friend, Sarah Jane Smith of Quantum Hypno, who, as you know, sponsors me. And we are now going to reveal the poster for the event. Cue poster, Jed.
Oh, I pressed it. It didn't work. I'll press again.
There we go. So, folks,
boom.
There we go. We have Mr. Joey Barton, who I think is known to you all, and the return of Loza, Mr. Lawrence Fox, for an evening of chat. I would say it as top quality banter, and it will indeed, as Northern Monkey says, be spicy, 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 because these two guys are forthright. They're really interesting views. I've been on Joey Barton's podcast. We did an hour and a half together. I found him really interesting chap. I know he's made his, yes, Joey indeed. Joey's got involved in this whole issue of Jed, should women be pontificating on men's sport that they haven't played? And he's got himself into lots of discussion. No, the venue is not Wembley. I wish it was. But so Joey's a really interesting character, super sharp guy. Yes, Gallo Gal, I think Joey will be not behind bars. Although a bit like Lawrence, he's had his legal.
Well, David, you think it all over? It is now, right?
Well, it is. So basically, folks, this is the event. So I mean, Lawrence is a guy that he was there on Saturday. He was right shoulder to shoulder with Tommy Robinson. Lawrence has said lots of interesting things on loads of topics, actually. I felt that the last time round, we didn't really get to explore that many of them. So this time round, we will explore all of them. So look, if you want to get yourself a primed, grab a ticket, come along. Then here we go. Jed's brought it up on the screen. Jed, this is where you have to go. Click button, and just like last time, get yourself a front row seat so you can enjoy the laughs. And as I said, I do think, Jed, with this one, these two guys are interesting, perceptive, distinct. They aren't afraid to say things. I think it would be fair to say. And for that matter, neither am I. So
they're not coming forward, are they?
No, they're not. And but again, one of the things that I think unites Joey and Lawrence is that they're very misunderstood people as well. I mean, the media has a go at them all the time. The absolute scum media, as I've taken to calling them in recent days. Scum media goes after Lawrence to make his life miserable. Hi, John, thanks for being there. It is north of the river. Northern Monkey says, which area?
W6. It's W6.
Use W6 as your guide to get your hotel. So that's
guys, buy your tickets now. Go to davidvance.net and you will see a link there to be able to go and buy them under the events tab. They're on sale right now. Go now. Why?
Yeah. Whoa.
Live events. Okay. When I can press the bloody button, that is. Live events. Get over there. Buy your tickets now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, go and buy your tickets. Okay.
Yeah.
Click here to buy tickets, and away you go, guys. Get your tickets now. Get your tickets now.
So it's John Ferguson says, which city? It's London town, John Ferguson. It's London. It's summer in the city. It's summer in London. It's summer.
Well,
Joey,
David, that used to be American Forces Radio, and it used to be summertime in the city. Get out and see Berlin. That's what it used to be.
Well, actually, to be fair, Berlin's probably safer than London. But
so you can see there, guys. You can see the price of the tickets as well. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
and there is an opportunity there to support free speech as well.
Yeah. Listen, guys, we've got limited space, so it's limited tickets. So, you know, my advice to everybody watching this is if you fancy a good night out in London in late July, and there's one other aspect to this as well that you guys might want to think about, and it's this, that this is Friday, the 26th of July. The following day, Saturday, the 27th of July, is, I believe, at any rate, likely to be the follow-on event from the one that you just saw this Saturday. So that will be Tommy and Lawrence and loads of other patriotic people trying to reclaim the streets of London, the decency of London, the rule of law, the impartial rule of law in London as well. So that's happening on Saturday. And I hope to be at that because obviously I'll be there the night before. So if you fancy, 36 hours.
It could be a double event, Davey, for some people, can't it? They could see you Friday night with Joey and Lawrence and
Joey and Lawrence,
Jane Smith. And then they could pop over and see Tommy Saturday morning. What a weekend.
Yeah, as I say, I think the Tommy one will be even bigger than the one that was there at the weekend, which I believe had around 20,000 people at it. I know people, Jed. I personally know people who were at that event. Great group of people, even though the scum media tried to put them all down as football hooligans. I mean, disgraceful.
Yeah.
But
I tell you what, though, David, Leslie's just said she loves Sarah Jane. And Sarah Jane, God bless you, she's listening in over on the Getters. She's literally listening in now. She's just said this. She loves you too, Leslie. So there's from Sarah.
Yeah. And just on that, for these events, Sarah is such a central part of everything that we do. I really have to say that. And if without Sarah, frankly, this wouldn't happen. And we had hoped that Sarah would have been able to be here this evening, but she'll be with us probably next Monday, and we'll do it then. And we'll chat to her as well, because Sarah is a great advocate for free speech. She has been supporting us and helping enormously. It's John Saunderson. It's W6, London W6. That will get you to the right area. But yeah, so Sarah, unfortunately, due to the family bereavement, that kind of has moved things a wee bit. But look, she's all good, and she'll be with us soon. So I'm really looking forward. And Sarah will be on stage with us. Yes, bless you, Sarah. Sarah's going to be on stage with me, Lawrence, and Joey. So what do you think, guys? Are you happy? Do you think it'll be a good event? Do you think this would be entertaining? Do you think this would be, better than being slumped in front of your TV, watching absolute garbage? You can actually have a night of, I think we should probably play a game as to, who can have the best banter on the evening, because between the two of them, I'm expecting it to be lively and to be.
Oh, absolutely. And David, I don't know so much about Joey Barton, but certainly Lawrence will be. If there's a pub next door, Lawrence will be in that pub straight after. Absolutely.
We need to identify. Well, we can't. We will identify.
We will identify.
We're going to send. I think, as I say, Sarah and another supporter will be planning to go to the venue to do a proper scout out, and one of their key objectives will be to find the very nearest pub. As I said, that we'll say more about that. We can't reveal the actual venue, but it's a free speech venue, and we won't be just quite as restricted, let's say, in some regards as we were. So, as I said, we'd hope to have a good after party, but the event itself should be good fun. And if you fancy, we're going to have sort of an exchange with the audience in whichever way we can do it. And so if you want to, have a chat with Joey Barton or with Lawrence, then this is your opportunity to do it. But as I said,
it's going to be a great night. I want to just say that Sarah is a fantastic support of the channel, of what we do here. And forget her support. She's just a fantastic person overall.
Yeah,
I've met her a few times now, and I've not met her as much as you, David, but she's always warm and welcoming. She's a great personality, a great, warm, kind person. So it's great to have somebody like that helping to support free speech and helping to support the channel, as she has done for several months now, if not a year or more.
Listen, I'm just happy to have a woman on stage. I mean,
there you go. I see we're not sexist, are we?
We're not sexist, so we're very happy to have Sarah on stage. We have the theme, the gentle touch. Although Sarah's,
I don't know. I bet she could be ruthless with her questioning.
I think you'll find Sarah really interesting as well. Interestingly enough, for those of you who don't know all of Sarah's background, she does come from a sporting background, and obviously Joey Barton, who has played for Northern Monkey, says Jed can identify as a woman for the night. No, we're not having that. No, we're sticking with the XYXX chromosome route. But going back to Sarah, so she's come from a sporting background. Her sister is an Olympian gold medalist, Michelle. And Sarah herself, is sort of swum, actually a swimmer at high level. It's a contradiction in terms. She swum at ground level, but nonetheless, we'll have that perspective, female perspective. I'm really happy about that as well. And so, as I say,
she's brilliant. But can I just say, Richard is the first person to buy a ticket. Whoever Richard is, I'm not going to say your last name, but thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks, Richard. I mean, you'll be in the first, hopefully in the first row. We've got a fair bit of work to do between now and the actual night on the Friday. But the events, the venue is going to be fine. It's going to be good. It's going to contain a decent number of people, but it will be limited. So I'm just hoping you guys do follow Richard's example. Oh, Ricky, that's Ricky.
Right.
Well, hey, Ricky, we need to congratulate you. Well done, my man, for being first out of the traps, because I am sure that Joey and Lawrence will be pushing this event. And I would gently observe that Joey has 2.8 million followers. So that's why I want you to, all of you lot, I want to see as many of you there as possible. So Antonio says it's Richard Tice. No, it's not. No,
it's not. We want true characters and true leaders.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't ban anyone, unlike Richard Tice, who bans me. So yes, Sarah says Michelle Smith, my sister, won 4 Olympic medals in 1996. She was the golden girl of Irish sport. In fact, I actually think she holds. Excuse me, man. I must have a touch of the old COVID here. She still holds the Irish record for the person who's won the most Olympic medals, I think. So anyway, it's all going to be interesting. We're going to cover all kinds of topics. Any of you have any suggestions of stuff you'd like us to tackle, get in contact. Plenty of time between now and the event. I certainly want to explore things with Joey with regard to his experience in sport, actually. Some real interesting stuff going on there with how he sees the way sports going. And I mean, I know I'm not a huge sports fan, as you know, Jed, but I know lots of you guys are. And I think Joey's been a real brave, almost trailblazing voice. And of course, he's got all the grief for it, because that's what you get in this country if you go against any kind of prevailing orthodoxy. But Gran Antonio says, Joey is great at attacking things. He and I had a fantastic conversation. So impressed. And of course, Lawrence Fox himself never fails to disappoint. Lawrence is an absolute true patriot. He's very, he's a guy who actually...
He's a guy though as well, isn't he, David? I mean, talking to him in the pub, you wouldn't think he's come from being a big Hollywood star as well as a TV star.
Yeah.
And he's just a down-to-earth sort of guy. He'll chat to you, and he doesn't look down on you. You're a normal person. I remember chasing after him to mic him up at the last one, because I went to him, I went, you're on. He went, I haven't got a mic. And I went, oh.
Yeah.
And I found the edge of the stage, and I mic'd him up, and he went, right, let's go.
Yes, stuff like not having mics doesn't stop us, Jed, does it? I mean, that's a challenge for us, and I'm sure we'll be even smoother this time around. And I'm sure Sarah, if you're listening, and others who will be aware, will make sure that this runs really smoothly. And as I said, for me, the main thing is I just want a good night of banter. I want good conversation.
Yeah, but it's a double-header, David. It's a double-header, because not only have you got this on Friday night, you can bounce then onto the Tommy thing on Saturday.
The Tommy and Saturday, yeah.
And I'll just tell Leslie, I'll send you a link for an hotel.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah. Just to say, there is a hotel located extremely conveniently. I won't say more than that, but anyway.
No, Leslie, I'll send you the link.
Yeah, Leslie can be brought into the circle to find that kind of stuff out. But yeah, so I mean, back to Lawrence. So I mean, I think Lawrence is just so interesting. He's someone that, I mean, on Twitter, he's got a very significant. He's got over 600,000 plus people follow him on Twitter. And he, it's a real contest to try and tweet things at the speed that Lawrence does. He's very effective on social media. And as I say, Joey's very effective in his own way also. And both of them have taken a lot of crap for it. So this is like a night for them to be amongst friends, to be amongst like-minded people. I see Sarah's listening, and the four of us on stage, it's just going to be a nice mood. It's going to be non-controversial, that's not the wrong word, isn't it?
No, he's definitely going to be controversial.
I think that's a certainty. Yeah. Just trying
it's not controversial for people like-minded like us who are open to free thought and free speech. It'd be controversial for all those that want to close us down.
Well, yeah, but then again, I feel that's the reason we're doing this stuff. The reason I've taken to doing these things is I just love the energy that happens, Jed. And you've been there, and Leslie's been there, and thank you, John, so much for the tickets. Appreciate that. The energy that comes in these events is kind of and Sarah knows this as well, because me and her met at a previous one, not one of mine, and there's a thing that happens. Jed, it's hard to explain it in words, but it's just so good. And you come away like on air and you feel I've spent a couple of hours with great people and it's such a good mood. And yeah, I mean, just really good. Would that be your experience, Jed? After the event, after we've been done there for a couple of hours, it's just such a feel good moment.
It is. You see, I don't have the hassle like you have, and like Sarah's obviously going to be having of setting up this event, so to speak. all the organisation and the venues and so on. And the last couple I've turned up and I've ran around a couple of times with a microphone. I've done the tickets on entrance. And
expert at that.
With my app. But the thing is, he's talking to the people. I tend to get there a little bit early, well, into the pub at least. And I'm sure I'll identify a pub very close.
Very close one, yeah.
And then and obviously if people DM me on the night, I'll tell you what pub I'm in. So if you're following me on Twitter, I'll DM you with where I'm at. And it's nice because I remember the first one, David, that we did, and I was in the pub and I was chatting with my son. My son came to the first one, didn't he?
Yeah.
Let's see if he can come to this one as well. And we were chatting, and there were people I was looking around. I thought, I wonder if they're going. And it was only afterwards that they then knew who. Well, one of them came up to me and he went, "I know your voice." Obviously, doesn't know my face.
Accent,
your voice. And then they went, "Well, who are you?" And he came out with his name. And then we were chatting, and we had a pint, and then afterwards a few more who then knew me. And it was nice in the pub after, because you get that after party thing for an hour and a half, maybe more. Stay as long as you like, But you then get to just chat with the people that have been on the stage. And I'm sure Lawrence will hang around. I don't know about Joey, but then you've got Sarah to chat to as well. She's a fantastic person to chat to, and yourself. And and then on the last one, I then took our lovely Leslie back, showed her go through London safely back to her room so she could feel safe. Yeah. And then I went to the train the following morning.
John Ferguson makes a really good point here.
Let me find it. Go on, I got it.
You realize you're not the only one. And John, honestly, that's so
you're
true.
right.
Yeah. Some of us, I think certainly the people around me, we've been stuck together now through thick and thin, certainly since the beginning of the COVID tyranny. And it's brilliant. It's absolutely lovely to be with such people. And all that happens, Jed, is you find, and John Saunderson, this is a really key crunch point, there's more and more and more of us. Go on, you like this one?
Sarah's going to go a long way.
Go
a long way with the comments like that.
Yeah. Like the thing is, Sarah, I mean, like women, I mean, and Jed, I mean, listen, I mean, if they were to actually see him, then clearly there would be no way of stopping themselves. So that's why, for reasons of etiquette, we have to make sure his screen is.
John is a fantastic supporter, isn't he? And
indeed,
John bought a round of drinks last time. He wouldn't let me pay. I was insistent I'd paid, and he wouldn't let me.
Yeah, well, as I said, I think we'll have a great night. And here's the other thing as well, actually, just on this. And as you said, Jed, it looks like the Tommy Robinson event will be the next day, the next morning in London. And what I liked about Saturday, and only I live in Northern Ireland, it's hard for me to get there. It's expensive for me to get there. But I thought it was brilliant to reclaim the streets of London. I thought it was brilliant. And by us being there on the 26th of July, as well as potentially the 27th, that's part of it as well. It's our city. It's our capital. We should be allowed to say, Jason.
That's Jason.
You're banned. Hey, Jason, you've been banned in perpetuity by Jed. It's good to claim back our city and to do it in a way that we all can have a fun night on it. So again, I think that's another good reason for us to be there. And
it's the people, David. Those things. Just think of those people that we've met. Some we know by usernames on here.
Yeah.
But past comments for years on your stuff that you've done, or wrote nice comments on the website or whatever it might be. And it's nice meeting those people, actually putting a face to them and go, yeah. And for me, because I don't show my face, and if we sell 50 tickets in the next 10 minutes, I might do.
Go everybody. Somebody buy 50 now. Just get it done with.
Yeah, somebody buys 50.
Then he's in trouble.
But if somebody did buy 50 before we finish this in the next 6 minutes, then I'll show my face. and I keep refreshing the page to see if they are. But
Right.
the point is, it's so nice to meet all those supporters that have supported us through thick and thin, through bands on YouTube, etc.,
Oh, yeah.
through building a new website, building. You've got your Substack now.
Yep.
We've got the different platforms that we try and put stuff out on. So it's great. And
Leslie says,
was seen, never forgotten. Thanks, Leslie. I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
She also says, are we all going to be football hooligans the next day? That's right.
Of course we are, yeah. Because the media will lie, cheat, and deceive.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, I think, I mean, I'm looking forward. Yeah, of course, we're going to be branded far right extreme Nazis, but we're not. Quantum. There's Sarah saying, "Come on, bad ticket now, everyone." He looks like Brad Pitt, ladies. So I can neither confirm nor deny that. But whichever way, yeah, we're not just trading on Jed's undoubted looks. We're also trading on the fact that I think Joey Barton and Lawrence Fox will give everyone a brilliant night in London. It's going to be post the general election. Do remember that. So the general election results will all be in. We will know the world in which we live by July 26th. So that's another good reason. So that way we can all come together in the aftermath of whatever happens. We spent the first 30 minutes of the show talking about the likely impact of Nigel Farage and reform and all that. Well, listen, by the time we come together at this live event, it will all be known. It's going to be all there. I think that'll make it fascinating as well. I'm sure we will. Yeah. We will actually tackle that the aftermath of the 2024 general election.
I might as well bring that up just while we're chatting, David. Just
So again, here.
Guys, get there, please. A lot of time and effort by people like David and Sarah.
Yeah.
And our guests, because they've got, I appreciate they live in London, but they still got trips across London.
Oh, Joey doesn't
give up the time.
No. Joey doesn't live in London. Joey is living in further.
I know it begins with L.
Not far from, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
the point is, they make the effort, and they're on our side of the argument, and it's nice to have that conversation. I'm sure, and Lawrence, Lawrence from the last one, he's a funny guy as well. He can tell a good story and make it funny too. So.
Well, yeah, this one I really wanted to be about banter. I wanted to be just a happy conversation. I wanted to be all of us together, gathered under the one roof, everyone happy and comfortable, and talking about stuff that we talk about, Jed, week in, week out, day in, day out. But we'll have the added incentive of it will be post the general election. So there's an evening with our good friends Joey and Lawrence, Friday 26th, starts at 7 through to 9, and the venue will be confirmed. But it is, if you use London W6 as your guide for hotels, and those who want to, Leslie, if you want to contact Jed, we can be more specific. But basically, we've got a bit of work to do. I'm very confident that with my good friend Sarah helping me, and another very good friend, we will get all the preliminary work done so that basically on the night, just turn up. We'll have fantastic fun and entertainment, and come out of it energized. And perhaps then the following day we can further take back the streets of London. And if Tommy Robinson's at a spur and the night before, he's been welcome to come along as well. So
maybe David, we could discuss whether Lawrence Fox dressed like that is going to be the next Bond.
Well, maybe it's a secret code. Maybe Lawrence did particularly choose that image. It has to be said. So, but anyway, it's just an image. Everyone knows Lawrence. He's a great guy. Joey as well. And I'm very comfortable with the fact that, as I said, we've got great people organizing and helping in the background to get this one away. And really, look, that's it, folks. We're going to bring it to, I'm going to wrap it up. But anyway, that's who it is. Joey Barton, Lawrence Fox, Friday, 26th of July in London town. And it's going to be a good night. So I hope if you've enjoyed any of the other stuff that's been put together, you'll enjoy this one as well. And John Saunderson says, think of Bill Oddie and Chris Rea. Yeah, John, that's an image to blow the mind, and hopefully minds will be blown on the night. So look, I'm gonna wrap it, Jed. Don't forget our guest. Don't forget
no, that's fine, David. This is, you can get it there on davidvance.net. That's where you can get your tickets from, guys. So get over there or go to the live events on the website, and it's also posted there. I do have a funny to finish on if you wish, David.
Yeah, okay. I'll get you. Finish on the funny in a minute. Just to say, everyone, as well, that again, links to be able to get tickets will be up on all my socials by tomorrow. So it'll be on my Twitter, my Getter, everywhere. Basically, I am on my Substack, as Jed says, on the website. So if you have any issues, get in contact with me. I'll be more than happy to help you. And as I said, I hope if we're going to have an evening of good political conversation, an interesting chat in London in the heat of the summer in July, which it pretty much is. I mean, I know they're doing geoengineering and ruining everything, but hopefully it'll be reasonably decent. So look, my thanks, Jed, just want to thank Sarah again for all that she's done in the background. Appreciate that, and others as well. And appreciate everything that's being done to get this particular one away. It proved to be a bit more difficult than I initially thought. But anyway, it's there now. So, right, that's it, folks. Do buy tickets. Do come and see me, see Joey Barton, see Lawrence Fox, see Jed, see Sarah. We're all going to be there, and a cast of millions, hopefully. So on that note, Jed, I will leave everyone. Jed's going to play out in the funny. See me on Wednesday night with Mr. James Perloff as we discover what really happened to the Lusitania. If you thought the Titanic was wild, wait till you hear what happened to the Lusitania. Jed.
Well, thank you, David. As you know, guys, when I'm on the show, I do like to finish with the funny, because sometimes the topics we discuss, although tonight have been joyful, and I better put this up from Sarah, joyful and happy. I think actually I do like to play out to the funny. I don't have to lead this one in. It has an intro of its own. So I'll bid you all good night, buy tickets, and we'll see you soon. God bless you all. Here we go.
Was not ready for this kid to approach and drop an absolute truth bomb of a joke on her. And shout out to this kid. Base Chad, he's got a bright future.
You wanna come in? What you gotta say?
I want to tell a joke. It's about all this stuff. So Obama, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Nancy Pelosi are all in an airplane together with the pilot. So Obama says, I'm going to throw this $100 bill out the window and make one American happy. And Hillary says, I'm going to throw $200 out the window and make 2 Americans happy. And Nancy Pelosi says, I'm going to throw 100 $100 bills out the window and make 100 Americans happy. And the pilot says, I can throw all 3 of you out the window and make all of America happy.